All right, we give all praise, honor, and glory and honor to Yahweh Bashir and Shabbat Shalom Kakadash. I want to give double honors to the Apostle Jim that rules well, that I learned from. Peace, blessings, salutations to Yakim out there, you Aqua tuning in, and you Israelite fronters that are scattered. This is to the hopeful elect, and this is Barry White. It's a good, it's a good little segment he did. I'm gonna let the video play. Let me break four scriptures, Lord's will. Try not to make this long.
Why is it divorce rate is higher today than it's ever been?
Tell me why.
Why is it that the cry today is don't get married, hang loose, and the laws are going to take care of those philosophies? Palimony now. You can't even hardly talk to a girl or a woman and say, baby, I like you. Would you like to like me? That could cost you a court case.
And that's true. You know, you can't pull up on women anymore. You might get to fighting with them or a verbal dispute. She might call the cops on you. Me and a couple people was talking about this. You can't pull up. If you're in a car, can't roll your window down, pull up on them. You girls get into this whole defense mode. This is the society that Esau caused, and this was Barry White talking about this in 1983. And you see what they did to our people, so-called blacks, Latino, Hispanic, Native Americans, and this is what pretty much the whole narrate of this truth is for, because you so-called Negro, Latino, Hispanic, Native Americans, you are the captives that's underneath Esau, and you are the biblical Hebrew Israelites. And we've been broken as a nation. And due to the destruction of our nation, going back to slavery, defeating the man and destroying our women, taking the minds of a woman. Pretty much go to Deuteronomy 21. It goes into about when you go to war, you kill the men and you take the woman. There's a law on that, and that's what Esau has done. Esau having possession over us, and we're being in his hands, going into the prophecy that we were going to go into captivity, and what was going to befall on the 12 tribes in the latter days, and those days are now. And this is what you see, us in their hands, and Esau took our women, and now they're in a destructive state, as worse what's the word? As it never been before. These women are through.
You can bleep this later, but it's all. That's really what it is. It's American, and it's gonna take us to a death stage because children are involved. What's more important than that man and woman's relationship is when they lay down with each other at night spiritually and physically communicate their bodies and become one.
And that's in the scriptures. That's in the scriptures. Let me get that. It says Genesis 2:24. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. And when they lay down with each other, they become one flesh. When a man goes into a woman, they become one flesh, and what comes out of it? Children. A man is supposed to be pretty much the head of the household and teach the children discipline. And the mother is supposed to uphold what's been laid down by the father. And the kids have an order, and it's all supposed to be an honor and a righteous thing to uphold righteousness as a whole household, to give honor to who? Yahweh Bashem Shah, our power. But unfortunately, Esau, the so-called white man, the fucking devil, our enemy, you see what he's done. and it's made manifest in front of our eyes. I hate when
and become one.
I hate when YouTube does that.
And that life comes from that moment. If that man and that woman does not have their life and their philosophies intact, that child is going to suffer. So he'll grow up at 21 and come in your house, Jay, where you and your wife is communicating and blow your damn brains out, brother.
And that's what has become out of these women being head of the household. These goddamn children are out of fucking order. And this is the very thing that Esau wanted. Going back to the book of Willie Lynch, they took the so-called black woman who was very profitable and was profitable for economics. She would basically break her son, and she would teach her daughter to be hard and independent. So another daughter is going to be good for economics because she's going to pretty much be willing to submit. I think, sort of speak what it says. And then the boy, the man child, he just going to be fucking strong, trying to flex muscle, but mentally he's going to be fucking weak. So he's going to be able to really much be led astray by many doctrines and led just be, again, on edge and so forth. And, you know, this is why you have homosexuality, a bunch of degenerates, lazy, idle, a lot of idle. And, you know, you go into the inner cities, man, you know, and Jake been talking about this. Men have been talking about this, man. You know, Jake men is starting to see this, man. Because the inner city and the ghettos and the projects are ran by fucking women, man. Esau gave women the welfare, the food stamps. So they're pretty much, it's a matriarchal thing going on now, opposed to, it's supposed to be a patriarchal, patriarchal in righteousness. And it says, I just got a couple of scriptures. Again, I don't want to make this too long, but matter of fact, I'm gonna get that too. But it says Proverbs 22:6, train up a child in the way he should go, even when he is old, he will not depart from it. Proverbs 13:24, whoever spares the rod hates his son, but he who loves him is diligent to discipline him. Proverbs 22:15, folly is bound up in the heart of a child, but the rod of discipline drives it up far from him. And what happens is when these women had these children, they allow the father to stay in the child. They pretty much pacify it and pretty much encourage it. They encourage the folly, you know. Proverbs 29:15, the rod and reproof gives wisdom, but a child left to himself brings shame to his mother. And that's pretty much what's happening, because one thing that's going on now, these women are so big doing competing and being equal and being more above. And hey, my boy hit me up today, man. You know, it was a post that said pretty much it said, who's better than a black man? Then here it is, the woman, a strong black woman. And I looked at the post. I was just like, yo, my goodness, man. All you saw was the nigga woman just saying out of stupidity, trying to be funny. Yeah, one Judah chick, she was like, crab legs and lobster is better than a black man. And I'm sitting like, yo. And see, these women, in their selfishness and their pride, these kids, they're left at home. They're left at their nappy-headed ass mothers, which caused this grief. And I'm gonna just say it like it is, man. So these kids grow up, in their own thoughts. They wonder why their father's not there. They wonder why it's all a bunch of chaos in the house, chaos amongst the neighborhood. And, these are questions. They go to school and they're being whitewashed and brainwashed, fighting amongst the other children in the school, and a bunch of, ignorance and folly. They're just all around them. So these kids grow up by themselves, and then what eventually happens, they grow up to be fucking Pookies and Ray Rays. And what happens? They get thrown in jail or get murdered on the street, and then their mama want to fucking cry. It don't make no fucking sense, man. It's a continuous cycle. Um, in Proverbs 19:18, discipline your son, for there is hope. Do not set your heart on putting him to death. This is the ESV. I was trying to find the KJV, but it says KJV, but unfortunately it's the ESV. It's a lock you on that. Proverbs 23:13. Do not withhold discipline from a child. If you strike him with a rod, he will not die. If you strike him with the rod, you will save his soul from hell. Sheol is hell. Um, yeah, discipline your son. Proverbs 29:17. Discipline your son, he will give you rest, and he will give delight to your heart. Um, yeah, this is Deuteronomy 11. You say you shall teach them to your children. This go into the law. When you have children, you should teach. Father's supposed to teach the children the law, and the mother is supposed to keep it pretty much in the children's mind, and set for them. They're supposed to order the house. Deuteronomy 11:19. You shall teach them to your children, talking of them when you are sitting in your house, and when you are walking by the way, and when you lie down, and when you arise. Proverbs 12. Whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but he who hates reproof is stupid. And this is what happened is going on today. Deuteronomy 21. Well, Salaki. All right, Salaki. I was incorrect. I said something about going to the spoils of war. Damn, I can't remember. It's not. I don't believe it's Deuteronomy. It's not Deuteronomy 21. I don't believe. Yeah, it's not that one. Let me see. Matter of fact, I already said. Let me bring it forth. Woman spoils of war. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, Deuteronomy 20, I believe. Yeah, Deuteronomy 20. Bear with me real quick. Because what is sad to say, these are, when we were born into the world, we were supposed to be pretty much taught about all these things about the Lord. Unfortunately, some of us had learned in our latter days. Some of us had learned it in our 20s and 30s and 40s and different ages. But this is all what we supposed to been knew as soon as we came forth into this world. I'm going to get Sirach 30, and I'm going to end it. All right, it says Sirach 30, and one, he that loveth his son causes him off to feel the rod, that he may have joy of him in the end. He that chasteth his son shall have joy in him, and shall rejoice of him among his acquaintance. He that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy. See that? And before his friend he shall rejoice of him. So since there's no father and no order in the household, and these so-called black women think they're so liberated, and and a lot of times when these so-called Latina, Hispanic women and these West Indian women come to the island, come from the islands in different parts of Latin America, they take hold of this same mindset that they're liberated, that they don't need the men, they don't need their men. But the thing about it is, men that's but it's pretty much that's why Esau broke down the family structure going back to slavery, because they knew if we was in order, we would teach the fathers would teach, uh, and that's what pretty much men really actually would all, because we catch hell. We the ones that Esau really is against. He gives woman comfortability, spoils, because women like that type of shit. So they can easily be misguided and led for comfortability. But us men, see, we know Esau knows in the kingdom we're going to be ruling over them with rod of iron. Us men, and we're gonna have a structure. You're gonna be patriarchal. The same thing as the Rothschilds. The Rothschilds are men. Um, they don't. There's no woman of Rothschild that's in power. It's all of the men. And the thing about it is, just like when you go to, just like in Deuteronomy 20, it says you kill the men and you take the children as slaves and you take the women. So you kill off the men. Why? Because when it's time of war, again, you destroy the men, and this is the same. Even when you go back to Exodus, the first chapter, that's what the decree was in Egypt, to kill off the boys, because again, you take the woman as spoiled, and it says, so again, as a man, you're gonna teach your son the reality, who is enemy, and you're gonna train your child, your son, for war, and when you, especially in the times especially the times that we're in now, a man will teach his son to prepare his mind for war, prepare his mind for heartaches and pain and suffering. And another thing too, if a man had a daughter, a man will give his daughter to another man with righteousness, and with a man that has a set mind, not a fucking nigger, not Pookie and Ray Ray. It says, though his father, Pookie and Ray Ray, been raised up by his fucking mother. It says, though his father die, yet he is as though he were not dead. Because if his father was righteous and a warrior, his son's going to be a warrior. And just like you look at Judith, Susanna, and so forth, they were a woman that was taught the law at a young age. And I believe Susanna as well. Not Susanna. In the book of Tobit, I forgot. I think it was Rachel. Her name was Rachel. It says that while he lived, he saw and rejoiced in him, and when he died, he was not sorrowful. He left behind him an avenger against his enemies. There you go, and one that shall requite kindness to his friends. It's a he that look at King David or King Solomon. Remember, it was a speech that King David told to King Solomon about people that that owed him certain things, and certain things that was left behind, that pretty much he said, whatever feels right to you, you complete it. You complete the task. So pretty much, if I had a son, and if I died, I would tell my son, pretty much make sure you stay strong and don't fucking give in to Esau. It says, he that maketh too much of his son shall bind up his wounds, and his bowels will be troubled at every cry. So you pretty much you spoil your kid, or you just allow him to do whatever he wants. You're gonna be in pretty much in shit creek. You just want to make your son comfortable and give, like niggas, all niggas want, I didn't have a great life. All I want to do is give my kids a better life. Shut the fuck up, man. It said, and horse not broken becometh headstrong, and a child left to himself will be willful, man. And that's all what's going on amongst the matriarchy of the so-called black women running these households. These children are growing up fucking headstrong. And as I did a lesson with the other channel that was cut off, actually, been around horses, and if you don't break a fucking horse, man, that horse will make a laughing stock out of you. Man, that shit can kill you. You know, you try to saddle that horse and that shit'll kick, man. Yeah, that shit'll do any. Ain't no telling. And if a horse not broken, you be on a trail, you amongst your buddies, whatever, riding horses, and that shit do whatever. That shit, everybody will laugh at you, and that shit can embarrass you, man. And it's the same thing with kids not being brought up in righteousness, man. And when these children are in the fucking household of mothers, they're not being taught. They're just being maintained because it's so. The black woman got this mindset, oh, I buy the kid food and send it to school, get education. I'm a boss, I'm a bad, and this is what's going on, man, And then that, you women are just maintaining children. They're not teaching their kids not a goddamn thing. They're cuddling them and the son or the mama's boyfriend. The daughters are they're being taught they don't need no man and they're strong. Girl, you can't, and all that, man. And this is shit you see every day, man. It's a cock of the child, and he shall make thee afraid. Play with him, and he will bring thee to heaviness, man. Laugh not with him, lest thou have sorrow with him. And these women, oh, my daughter, my best friend. What you getting into? We going to the club. Lest thou have sorrow with him, and lest thou gnash thy teeth in the end. Give him no liberty in his youth, and wink not at his follies. The woman do so. Bow down his neck while he is young, and beat him on the sides while he is a child, lest he wax stubborn and be disobedient unto thee, and so bring sorrow to thine heart. And this is what goes on. Chastise thy son, and hold him to labor, lest his lewd behavior be an offense to thee. And that's the point. I'm gonna let this video play one more time, and I'm gonna end it. Lord's will, y'all will edify with this lesson.
Why is it divorce rate is higher today than it's ever been?
Tell me why.
Why is it that the cry today is don't get married? Hang loose. And the laws are going to take care of those philosophies. Palimony now. You can't even hardly talk to a girl or a woman and say, baby, I like you. Would you like to like me? That could cost you a court case. You can bleep this later, but it's all... That's really what it is. It's American, and it's going to take us to a death stage because children are involved. What's more important than that man and woman's relationship is when they lay down with each other at night spiritually and physically communicate their bodies and become one. And that life comes from that moment. If that man and that woman does not have their life and their philosophies intact, that child is going to suffer. So he'll grow up at 21 and come in your house, Jay, where you and your wife is communicating and blow your damn brains out, brother.
I want to say shalom.